The museum closed forever at exactly 11:47 p.m. Not because of fire, not because of theft, not because anyone screamed. It closed because Sophia Bell touched the broken crown. One moment, she was standing alone inside the grand hall of the Museo di San Aurelio in Florence, wearing white restoration gloves and holding the final missing fragment of a shattered medieval crown. The next, every exit sealed. Steel shutters dropped over the windows with a thunderous crash. Emergency lights washed the marble walls in red. Security lasers ignited across the hall like crimson threads. And somewhere deep beneath the museum, something ancient woke up. Sophia froze. The crown sat on a velvet restoration pedestal before her, broken into 27 pieces of gold, silver, and blackened enamel. It had arrived 3 weeks earlier, from a private collection in Monaco, surrounded by armed couriers, sealed documents, and strict orders from the museum board. Restore it before the international exhibition. Do not photograph the interior structure. Do not remove the central stone. Do not ask why the crown had been hidden for 200 years. Sophia had asked anyway. No one answered. Now, as alarms pulsed through the empty museum and the restored crown trembled under the overhead light, she understood why. The final fragment had not completed the crown. It had activated it. A mechanical click echoed from inside the gold. Then another. Then a sound like a key turning in a lock that had not moved for centuries. Sophia stepped back. "What did you do?" she whispered. The crown answered by opening. A thin ring of gold shifted beneath the central black stone, revealing a hidden mechanism so intricate it looked impossible for human hands to have made. Then all the lights went out. For 3 seconds, the museum was swallowed by darkness. Then a man's voice spoke from behind her. "Do not touch it again." Sophia spun around. A man stood at the far end of the grand hall. Tall, still, dressed in a black tailored coat, his face half-shadowed by the red emergency glow. He had not been there when the doors sealed. He should not have been able to enter. Nobody should have been able to enter. The museum's security system had locked every entrance from the inside. Sophia's heart slammed against her ribs. "Who are you?" The man stepped forward slowly, his polished shoes making almost no sound against the marble floor. Dante Moretti. The name moved through Sophia's mind, like a door opening onto a room she had been warned never to enter. Moretti. Old money, private banks, shipping firms, luxury hotels, political silence. And beneath all of it, the stories no newspaper printed unless its lawyers were very brave. Dante Moretti was not simply rich. He was feared. Not loudly, not theatrically, quietly, the way powerful men were feared when their enemies disappeared from public life without explanation. Sophia took another step back. "How did you get in?" Dante's eyes moved past her to the crown. "I have keys to places that were built before your museum had doors." "That doesn't answer my question." "No," he said calmly. "It answers more than you realize." The alarms continued to pulse. Sophia looked toward the sealed exits. "If you're here for the crown, you're too late. The system locked us in." "I'm not here for the crown." "Then why are you here?" His gaze returned to her. "Because you touched it." The answer chilled her more than the locked doors. Sophia forced herself to breathe. "I'm calling security. They're already dead." Her hand froze halfway to the emergency panel. The words had been delivered without emotion. No cruelty, no satisfaction, only fact. Sophia stared at him. "What?" Dante's jaw tightened. 3 guards at the east entrance, 2 in the courtyard, 1 in the security room. Her stomach turned. "You killed them?" His eyes sharpened. "No." "Then who did?" Before he could answer, the giant bronze doors at the end of the hall shook violently. Once, twice. Someone outside was forcing them open. Dante moved. Not fast enough to look panicked, fast enough to prove he had already expected it. He crossed the hall, grabbed Sophia's wrist, and pulled her away from the crown. She resisted instantly. "Let go of me." "Not yet. You don't get to touch me." A faint flicker crossed his expression. Not amusement. Interest. Then the first explosion hit the bronze doors. The shockwave threw dust from the ceiling. Sophia stumbled. Dante caught her with one arm around her waist and turned his body between her and the blast. The doors bent inward. A second explosion tore through the lock. Black smoke poured into the hall. Men entered through it, armored, masked, silent. Dante pushed Sophia behind a marble column. "Stay down. I don't take orders from strange men in museums. You do when they're the only reason you're still breathing." Gunfire shattered the silence. Bullets struck marble. Statues cracked. Glass cases exploded across the hall. Sophia dropped to the floor, covering her head as fragments rained around her. Dante moved through the red-lit chaos with terrifying control. He drew a pistol from beneath his coat, fired only when necessary, and never once moved more than a few steps away from her. He was not fighting like a man trying to win. He was fighting like a man trying to keep a single person alive. Here, one attacker broke from the smoke and rushed toward the pedestal. Dante shot the floor at his feet. The man stopped. Dante's voice cut through the hall. "The crown does not leave this room." The attacker raised his weapon toward Sophia. Dante's face changed. Whatever restraint he had been holding vanished into something colder. He fired once. The man fell. Sophia stared, horrified. Dante looked at her only for half a second, long enough for her to see that he did not enjoy violence. He simply knew it too well. More attackers pushed through the broken doors. Dante cursed under his breath, grabbed the crown from the pedestal with one hand and Sophia with the other. "We're leaving." "There is nowhere to leave. There is always somewhere." He pulled her toward the north gallery, moving between laser grids and overturned display cases as if he had memorized the museum in a life before this one. Maybe he had. They slipped through a narrow restoration corridor and down a hidden staircase Sophia had used only twice in 5 years. Behind them, gunfire echoed through the grand hall. Dante shut the steel door and locked it manually. Sophia ripped her wrist away. "Tell me what is happening." He turned. For the first time, they were close enough that she noticed details beyond the danger. The faint scar along his jaw, the rain on his coat, though it had not rained in Florence that night, the exhaustion around his eyes, the way he held the crown carefully, not like treasure, but like a bomb. "The crown is a key," he said. "To what?" "A chamber beneath this museum." "That's impossible." "I know this building." "No," Dante said. "You know the building they allowed you to study." Sophia hated how easily he dismantled reality. "The museum was built over a Medici archive," he continued. "Officially, the archive was destroyed in a fire in 1789, and unofficially, it was sealed. Why? Because it contained records of the families who controlled Europe from behind: thrones, wars, marriages, and assassinations." Sophia swallowed. "And this crown opens it?" The crown was never royal. She looked down at the fractured gold in his hand. "Then who wore it?" Dante's eyes met hers. "The woman who chose kings." Silence settled between them. Above, another explosion shook the walls. Sophia forced her voice steady. "Why do they want it?" "Because whoever controls what is beneath this museum controls the truth about half of Europe's oldest fortunes." "And you?" His face went still. "I want it buried." The honesty surprised her. "Why?" "Because some truths do not free people. They start wars." That sounds like something powerful men say when they're afraid of being exposed. Something flickered in his eyes. Anger. Not at her. At the accuracy. "You're not wrong." Then he turned and began walking down the corridor. Sophia hesitated. She should run. She should hide. She should scream. Instead, she followed him. Because the men upstairs had tried to kill her. Because the museum had locked itself around her. because a crown had opened like a machine in her hands, and because Dante Moretti, terrifying as he was, seemed more afraid of what she had awakened than of anyone hunting them. The corridor led into the museum's conservation wing, a maze of climate-controlled rooms, marble fragments, covered canvases, and crates stamped with names from dead empires. Sophia knew this place. At least, she thought she did. Dante stopped before a wall of Renaissance tapestries. "Move the left frame." Sophia stared. "What?" "Move it." "How do you know there's something behind it?" He looked at her. "Because I put it there." The answer made her step back. "You've been inside my museum before." "Yes." "When?" "Many times." "You broke in?" "I inherited access." That word again. Inherited. Like crime. Like guilt. Like a locked room passed from one generation to the next. Sophia moved the tapestry frame with reluctant hands. Behind it was a black keypad. Not old. Modern. Dante typed a code. "Access denied." He frowned. Sophia almost laughed despite the terror. "Your secret door doesn't like you?" "It used to." The keypad flashed again. "Curator authorization required." Sophia's pulse shifted. Dante looked at her slowly. "It recognizes your title." "No. That system isn't connected to museum staff records." "It is now." "I didn't install this." "No," he said quietly. "Someone installed it for you." Sophia pressed her thumb to the glass. The wall clicked. A hidden door opened. Cold air breathed from the darkness beyond. She looked at Dante. "Who knew I would be here tonight?" His expression hardened. "That is the question." The passage beyond the wall descended beneath the museum into older stone. The air grew damp. Florence disappeared above them. No alarms. No gunfire. Only their footsteps and the faint metallic ticking inside the crown. Dante walked ahead, but not too far. Sophia noticed that. He kept himself between her and the darkness, but never dragged her forward. For a man who seemed capable of controlling anything, he was making an effort not to control her. That unsettled her more than arrogance would have. After several minutes, she said, "You knew my name before tonight." "Yes." "How?" "I know everyone connected to the crown. I was assigned 3 weeks ago." "No," Dante said. "You were chosen years ago." Sophia stopped. He turned back. "What does that mean?" He looked like he regretted saying it. Then the ceiling above them shook. Dust fell between them. Dante moved closer. "They're breaching the conservation wing." "You still haven't answered me." "This is not the place." "Then make it the place." His eyes locked on hers. For a moment, the narrow tunnel seemed smaller, more intimate, more dangerous. "You are standing under a museum being invaded by people who will kill you if they think your blood opens that archive." Sophia's breath caught. "My blood?" Dante went still. Too late. She saw it in his face. The secret he had not meant to reveal. She took one step back. "What am I?" Before he could answer, the crown in his hand clicked again. A thin needle of gold emerged from its inner band and pointed towards Sophia. Dante looked down, then at her. His voice lowered, apparently the one thing everyone lied about. They reached a circular door carved into black stone. No handle, no lock. Only a shallow crown-shaped depression at its center. Dante lifted the crown. Sophia caught his wrist. "Wait." His eyes dropped to her hand, then back to her. "You wanted answers. I want answers before I open something that may get us both killed. It already has." She did not let go. "Why do you want it buried?" Dante's jaw tightened. Above them, distant footsteps echoed. He had seconds. "Still," he answered, "because my family is in those records." Sophia stared. "The Morettis?" "Yes." "What did they do?" His expression turned cold, but not defensive. "Ashamed. They enforced secrets for kings who wanted clean hands. The words carried centuries. And you, I was born into a throne made of other people's silence. Are you still sitting on it?" His eyes sharpened. No, she wanted to believe him. That frightened her, because belief in that tunnel felt like the beginning of surrender. She released his wrist. Dante placed the crown into the stone depression. Nothing happened. Then the door spoke. Final fragment required. Sophia frowned. The crown is complete. No, Dante said. It is. I restored it myself. The door repeated. Final fragment required. A chill moved through Sophia. She reached instinctively for the small pendant at her throat. It was the only jewelry she always wore. A broken gold shard set inside a plain silver frame. Her mother had given it to her before disappearing from Sophia's life when she was 7. Dante's eyes followed her hand. The tunnel went quiet. No, Sophia whispered. Dante said nothing. No, it's not part of the crown. But the crown had begun to vibrate. The pendant warmed against her skin. Sophia stepped back, shaking her head. I've worn this since I was a child. Dante's voice softened. I know. Her eyes snapped to his. You knew? I suspected. Suspected? I hoped I was wrong. Her laugh broke. You hoped? Footsteps grew louder in the tunnel behind them. Dante moved toward her. Sophia stepped back. Don't. He stopped immediately. That restraint. Her. It would have been easier if he had been cruel. You said I was chosen years ago, she whispered. By who? Dante looked toward the approaching shadows. Then back at her. Your mother. Sophia forgot how to breathe. My mother is dead. No. The answer was quiet. Merciless. She disappeared. Sophia's eyes burned. She left me. She hid you. That's not better. No, Dante said. It is not. The first armed figure appeared at the far end of the tunnel. Dante turned, raised his weapon, and fired into the stone beside the man's head. Next one does not miss. A woman's voice floated from the darkness. Still pretending you are not your father's son, Dante? Dante's face changed. Not fear, recognition, hatred, controlled so tightly it looked like ice. Sophia looked past him. A woman stepped from the tunnel. Tall, elegant, silver hair twisted into a perfect knot. White coat, red lips, a face beautiful in the way marble was beautiful. Cold because it had never needed warmth. Valentina Orsini, Dante said. Valentina smiled. And this must be Sophia. Sophia's stomach tightened. You know me. I have waited for you for 20 years. Dante stepped in front of Sophia. Valentina's smile widened. How touching. The executioner's heir pretending to be a shield. Sophia looked at Dante. Executioner's heir. Another title. Another lie. Valentina's gaze moved to the pendant. Give me the fragment, darling. Sophia gripped it. No, you do not even know what you are protecting. Then tell me. Valentina's smile faded slightly. The archive does not contain history. It contains ownership. Names of bloodlines hidden, stolen, exchanged. Children moved. Marriages arranged. Empires rewritten through cradles instead of battlefields. Sophia's skin went cold. Dante said, Enough. Valentina ignored him. Your mother was the last archivist. She stole the final fragment and hid it with you, Sophia whispered. Why? Because she believed you deserved a life untouched by men like him. The words struck. Dante did not defend himself. That made them worse. Valentina took one step closer. Open the door, Sophia. Learn who you are. Dante's voice was low. She wants the archive to sell it. And you want to bury it because it condemns you, Valentina replied. Sophia looked between them. Two dangerous people. Two versions of truth. One crown. One pendant. One door. And her life splitting open beneath a museum. She unclasped the pendant. Dante turned sharply. Sophia. She looked at him. Do not tell me what to choose. His face tightened. Then he stepped back. Valentina watched, pleased. Sophia placed the pendant fragment into the crown. It fit perfectly. The black stone at the center opened like an eye. The circular door unlocked. A staircase appeared beyond it, spiraling down into golden darkness. Valentina lifted her hand. Her men raised their weapons. Dante moved instantly. He grabbed Sophia and pulled her through the door as gunfire erupted. Bullets struck stone. Sparks flew. The archive door began closing. Valentina shouted, "Stop them!" Dante and Sophia stumbled down the stairs as the door sealed behind them, cutting off the gunfire. Sophia landed against him. His arms closed around her before he seemed to think. For 1 second, they were too close. Her hands against his chest, his breath near her temple, the crown trapped between them. She could feel his heartbeat. Slow, controlled, human. Then he released her, as if touch was more dangerous than gunfire. Sophia stepped away. "You knew my mother." "Yes." "Did you love her?" The question surprised him. "No." "Did she trust you?" A long silence. "No." The honesty was brutal. "Then why should I?" Dante looked at her. "Because I am not asking you to." That answer unsettled her most of all. The staircase ended inside a chamber that should not have existed. A vast underground archive stretched beneath Florence like a buried cathedral. Rows of bronze cabinets rose 3 stories high. Marble statues stood in alcoves, their faces scratched away. At the center was a black table under a shaft of golden light. Upon it rested a ledger. Sophia approached slowly. On the cover was a symbol matching her pendant. Dante stood several steps behind her, not touching, not guiding, waiting. She opened the ledger. The first page contained a family tree. Not royal, not noble, something older. Names crossed out, names rewritten. Children transferred between houses like currency. Sophia turned pages faster, then stopped. Her name appeared. Sophia Bell. Beside it was another name, Sophia Orsini. Her hand flew to her mouth. "No." Dante looked down. His expression darkened. Sophia turned the ledger toward him. "Orsini?" "Valentina's family. The woman hunting her." Sophia's knees weakened. "She's my grandmother," Dante said. The word broke something. Valentina was not simply after the archive. She was after blood. Sophia backed away from the table. "No. My mother would have told me. Your mother ran from them." "Why?" Dante stepped closer. "Because the Orsini line needed an heir to claim the archive. Your mother refused to raise you as a weapon." Sophia laughed once, broken. "So everyone knew what I was except me." "Not everyone. You did. I knew enough to be afraid. Of me. For you." She looked at him through tears. "You have no right to sound like you care." He absorbed that without flinching. "You're right." Again, no denial, no excuse. Just the unbearable weight of a man who knew exactly what he was. The archive lights shifted. A voice echoed through the chamber. Bloodline confirmed. Archivist heir recognized. Cabinets began unlocking across the room. Onebewan. Hundreds of metal clicks. Sophia turned slowly. Drawers opened. Documents slid forward. The truth of an empire offering itself to her. Dante's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen. His face went still. "What?" "Valentina's people breached the archive from another entrance." "There's another entrance?" "There is always another entrance." Sophia almost smiled. Almost. Then, footsteps echoed from the far side of the archive. Dante pulled her behind a statue as shadows moved between the bronze cabinets. Sophia clutched the ledger. "If she is my grandmother, she won't kill me." "No," Dante said. "She will use you." That seems to run in powerful families. His eyes met hers. Yes, the admission was quiet, painful, and for the first time, Sophia saw not the legend of Dante Moretti, but a man who had spent his life trying not to become the inheritance he was given. Valentina entered the archive with 6 armed men. She looked around like a queen, returning to a throne room. "Beautiful," she whispered. Sophia stepped out before Dante could stop her. "Sophia," he said sharply. She ignored him. Valentina smiled. "There you are. You're my grandmother." "Yes? You let me think my mother was dead. I let you live." Sophia's eyes narrowed. "That is not the same thing." Valentina's smile cooled. "You have her spine." "Unfortunately. Where is she?" For the first time, Valentina's expression flickered. Dante noticed. So did Sophia. "Where is my mother?" Valentina said nothing. Sophia stepped closer. Dante moved with her, shadowing every step. Valentina looked at him. "Careful, Moretti. You are acting attached." Dante's face remained calm. "I am acting aware." "No." Valentina's gaze moved between them. "This is worse." Sophia looked at him. Dante did not look back. That told her everything. Whatever was growing between them, he feared it. Valentina raised one hand. Her men aimed weapons at Dante. Sophia moved instinctively in front of him. Dante's hand caught her arm. "No." She looked over her shoulder. "You don't get to be the only one who protects." Something in his expression fractured, just slightly, but enough. Valentina laughed softly. "Oh, Dante, you poor thing." Sophia looked back. "What?" "He did not come tonight for the crown." Dante went still. Valentina's smile became cruel. "He came because your name appeared in the transfer files 3 weeks ago. He has known where you worked, where you lived, which route you walked home." Sophia's heart dropped. She looked at Dante. "Is that true?" His silence was answer enough. "You watched me?" "No." "But you knew?" "Yes." Her voice shook. "You let me walk into this. I tried to have you removed from the assignment. You tried to control my life without telling me. I tried to keep you alive. Do you hear yourself?" His jaw tightened. "Yes." Valentina's voice turned silky. "He sounds exactly like his father." Dante's eyes hardened. Sophia saw the hit land. Valentina continued. "The Morettis always called cages protection." Sophia stepped away from Dante. "He lit her. That was the worst part. He let her anger have space. He let the truth wound him." Valentina extended a hand. "Come with me. I will tell you everything." Sophia stared at her grandmother, then at Dante. One woman offering blood. One man offering danger. Neither offering peace. The archive system spoke again. "Full disclosure requires air command." Valentina turned toward the table. "Sophia, open the central ledger." Dante's voice cut in. "Don't." Valentina snapped. "She deserves the truth. She deserves the choice." Sophia looked at him. Dante held her chaser. "I have lied by omission. I have interfered. I have done things you may never forgive." His voice lowered. "But I will not take this choice from you." Valentina's face tightened. Sophia walked to the black table. Her hand hovered over the ledger. "What happens if I open it?" Dante answered. "Every record becomes public." Valentina said. "Every lie ends." Dante said. "Every old family in Europe goes to war before sunrise." Valentina smiled. "Only the guilty fear truth." Dante looked at Sophia, and only the ruthless ignore consequences. Sophia closed her eyes. Her mother had hidden her. Dante had watched the danger from shadows. Valentina wanted power wrapped in family. The archive wanted a command. Sophia opened her eyes. "Where is my mother?" Valentina's silence returned. Sophia placed both hands on the ledger. "Answer me, or I open everything." Valentina's mask cracked. "She is alive." The words stopped the room. Sophia's breath vanished. Dante turned sharply. Even he had not known. "Where?" Sophia whispered. Valentina's voice hardened. "Safe." "Where?" In a monastery outside Siena. Sophia's eyes filled. You kept her there? She chose exile over duty. She chose me. She chose weakness. Sophia's hand moved. She opened the ledger. Lights exploded through the archive. Valentina shouted. No. Drawers opened. Documents scanned. Files began transmitting to encrypted public archives. Valentina's men opened fire. Dante crossed the room in a blur. He slammed into Sophia, pulling her behind the table as bullets shattered bronze cabinets behind them. This time, she did not fight his protection. This time, she grabbed his coat and pulled him down with her. The archive became chaos. Gunfire, falling documents, golden dust, ancient secrets scattering like torn wings. Dante fought with brutal precision, disarming one attacker, forcing another back, never leaving Sophia exposed. Valentina tried to reach the ledger. Sophia saw her chance. The crown. It was still on the table. She grabbed it and slammed the central stone down into the mechanical slot beneath the ledger. A hidden system activated. The floor opened around the table. Valentina screamed as the archive began sealing itself. Dante caught Sophia around the waist and pulled her back, just as the stone platform split. But one of Valentina's men fired. The bullet struck Dante in the side. He staggered. Sophia screamed his name. For the first time all night, Dante Moretti fell. The sight broke something inside her. Not because he was invincible, because he wasn't. Because beneath the name, the danger, the power, the control, there was blood spreading across his white shirt. Because he had stepped in front of death without asking if she would forgive him. Sophia dropped beside him. Don't you? His hand pressed against the wound. I'm fine. Don't lie to me. His eyes found hers. Even in pain, he almost looked amused. I thought you hated my lies. I hate stupid ones more. Around them, the archive continued collapsing into lockdown. Valentina ran toward the closing passage. Sophia looked at the crown, then at the ledger. A final prompt appeared on the black table. Air confirmation required. Public release? Or private seal? Dante saw it. His voice strained. Sophia. She knew what he would say. He would tell her to choose carefully, to think of consequences, to not let rage decide history. Valentina's voice echoed from the passage. If you release it, you destroy us all. Sophia looked at the woman who was her blood, then at Dante, the man who had no right to protect her and had done it anyway. She pressed neither option. Instead, she lifted the crown and placed it on the table. A third option appeared. Selective truth protocol. Sophia inhaled. Her mother had not hidden the crown to bury truth. She had hidden it to keep truth from becoming a weapon. Sophia selected the third option. The archive released only the records of crimes, stolen children, forged inheritances, and active conspiracies. It sealed private names of the innocent. It exposed the guilty without burning the world around them. Valentina, stare in horror. No. Sophia stood. Yes. Police sirens finally wailed somewhere above the museum. Not local police. International task forces. Investigators. Journalists. People who had waited generations for proof. Valentina backed away as her empire began dying in data. Dante tried to stand and failed. Sophia caught him. He leaned against her, heavier than she expected, more human than she wanted. You chose well, he whispered. She looked at him. I chose what my mother wanted. Then, after a pause, and maybe what you were afraid to hope for. His eyes softened. Not much, but enough. The museum reopened at dawn. Not to visitors, to truth. The grand hall was shattered. Marble dust covered the floor. The bronze doors hung broken. Red lasers no longer crossed the room. Sophia sat on the steps outside beneath a pale Florence sunrise, wrapped in Dante's black coat. He sat beside her, bandaged, silent, watching police escort Valentina Orsini into a black car. For the first time all night, Dante looked tired. Not powerful, not intouchable, just tired. Sophia looked at him. How much of your family was in those files? Enough. What happens to you now? His gaze remained on the sunrise. Enemies come. Allies vanish. Doors close. You say that like it doesn't matter. It matters. He turned to her. But not as much as who I become after they close. Sophia looked down at the crown in her hands. It no longer looked like treasure. It looked like burden, choice, inheritance. She said, "You still should have told me. Yes, you had no right to decide what I could survive. Yes, and if you ever try to protect me by controlling me again, I'll destroy you myself." For the first time, Dante smiled. Small, real, devastating. "I believe you." Sophia hated that it made her heart move. She looked away. "You're dangerous." "Yes. I don't know if I trust you." "Good." That made her look back. Dante's eyes held hers. Trust should not be easy with men like me. The honesty settled between them, quiet and heavy. Sophia stood. Dante tried to rise too quickly and winced. She offered her hand. He looked at it. For a man who had faced gunfire without blinking, he seemed almost afraid of that small gesture. Slowly, he took it. Sophia helped him stand. The Florence sun touched the broken museum behind them. Inside, the crown had closed again. The archive beneath San Aurelio was sealed. Valentina was gone. Sophia's mother was alive. And Dante Moretti, the man who had entered her life like a threat, stood beside her like a question she was not ready to answer. Not yet, but not never. As they walked down the museum steps, Sophia stopped. "What now?" Dante looked at the city waking around them. "Now we find your mother." Sophia's throat tightened. "And after that?" He looked at her, quiet and unreadable. "After that, you decide whether I remain in your life." She studied him. No demand, no command, no possession. Only the hardest kind of surrender for a man built from control. Sophia slipped the broken crown fragment from her pocket, the one she had carried since childhood. She placed it in his palm. Dante stared at it. "What is this?" "A reminder." "Of what?" "That, if you want to stand beside me, you don't get to hold the key." His fingers closed around the fragment. Then he gave it back. Sophia blinked. Dante's voice was low. "I don't want the key." He looked at her like the answer cost him something. "I want to be trusted near the door." The city bells began ringing. Sophia did not smile, not fully, but she did not walk away. Behind them, inside the damaged museum, one forgotten security monitor flickered back to life. A file opened by itself. Origin of the crown. Classified. Current heir. Sophia Bell. Second heir. Unknown. Then a new image appeared. Our boy, no older than 5, standing in front of the same broken crown, holding Dante Moretti's hand. And beneath the image, one final line appeared. The child was never lost.